again, dear soul friends and soul family, and welcome back to the podcast show. Welcome back to Sovereign Soul Radio. My friends, a lot of you already know me for quite some time now with my voice in your ears and our hearts mashing up over these sound waves. And you know that I'm Ivy. My name is Ivy Rose, and we've been doing this podcast for quite a while now. And it's been good, but I've had to take a couple hiatuses. And so I am back in stability, consistency, because my it was a dark winter, wasn't it? My own time of incubation and gestation, if you will, is birthing within this spring and summerdom that we are moving into. I don't know if summerdom is a good word or a word. No, sorry, it is good. I don't know if it's a word. So, but hey, friends. Welcome back. Welcome back. I am so happy to be here with you, and I hope at these days of everything that is happening, and sorry for the noise as I quickly get this microphone adjusted so that I am sitting up more straightly. So my friends, where are you in the world? What is going on where you are? This Canadian in America right now is having a wild heck of a time enjoying these crazy days. And so, with my eyes strongly on what is happening in Canada, crazy, can we call it China-ada right now? And not coming from a racist place, coming from a place of having zero respect for communism, Oh, and also, P.S., we're gonna have to use coded language in this episode today, friends, because this podcast is also now going up onto YouTube and some places where the censorship is so high. They'd be doing so good at their little censoring jobs. So all of us light-working patriots, we gotta be very creative with our ways of communication. And I love that warfare in 2021, besides heavily with how we are able to participate in meme warfare, but a lot of warfare tactics that we are all engaging in without even often understanding it, is like we are rapidly redesigning coded language and spreading it across the masses. And this, as hard of a time as this is to be alive, it is also it is magnificent to witness. It is magnificent and challenging to participate in, but wow that we are here and now. So I'm very closely watching Canada. I'm very closely watching America. I'm watching as much of the rest of the world as I'm able to see, but I know that we've got listeners from all over the place. So I'm hoping that you are all safe and well, with full bellies and happy bodies and peaceful nervous systems, and a trusting in your heart that we will keep rising to the occasion, that we will keep doing all that we are able to do, and we will grow into the strongest, most integral, most gorgeous, high consciousness, high frequency versions of ourselves individually and collectively as possible at this time. So may we remember that not only is this a crazy freaking shit show that we're all moving through, but we are dismantling and unveiling not just years of darkness, not just decades of darkness, not just centuries of darkness, my friends, but we are talking thousands of years of darkness. In my own researches, I keep often being re-educated with it being possibly a 26,000 year cycle of darkness that we have been through. So, that obviously means that all aspects of this current modern society is used to be secretly, insidiously, ubiquitously, I hope I use that word properly, but that we have been in such a space of darkness for so long. So now we are opening our eyes to be able to see that this dark shit didn't just infuse everything in all the systems, right? From agriculture to pharmaceuticals to education to goodness, all of the things, from big business to technology to, guys, it's late at night. there's been so many days of so much computer work. Like I've been pulling 12-hour computer work days like for a very long time in a row right now. So my brain, and setting all this up for this podcast tonight took a lot of time. So my brain feels a little sleepy. So we're going to do our best together. But, we understand that all of these aspects of our society, the energetic architecture of them is dark. It's dark. And how darkness works is like, number one, it's not nearly as clever as light. Okay, so we just got to get that out there that like dark is good. They are sneaky mothers. And actually, I'm going to retract. They don't even deserve that word on them. But they are sneaky. They are conniving. But there is a level of cleverness and slash like instinct and intuition and foresight and wisdom that light embodies, that light is. These are qualities of light, but these are not qualities that darkness possesses. And so that's why we see so much, they're fumbling in their panic, because they're not quick like us who are filled with light. Which is great. So it helps that once you can start seeing the energetic patterns of these things, that you really start seeing it. Okay, so I digress. But what I'm saying is that all of these systems around us, everything that we participate with as modern citizens, it's bad. It's literally bad within the energetic architecture of it. It's not just like components are bad or they hired some shit people. It's like, nah, this shit is actually built from darkness and how darkness works. And again, they're not clever, but they make things look very light. They make it look very light. They deceive you with having it look and sound and feel a lot of really good, lots of good in there. But that's just to distract us and help us not be aware, not have the willingness to be like really discerning and not naive, to see that there is actually darkness in that. And so that's how we can start seeing like the whole New Age movement, most religions, there's aspects of distortion in it. We're going to make it all look really, 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 really good. And then sliding in over here, it's like, oh, P.S. selling your soul, So we're in such intense days of witnessing, of truly learning to view accurately, to perceive accurately, to feel more accurately. And meanwhile, we've got all of these delusions and illusions crumbling, and we're feeling the collective energy of everything that's going on. And then we've got all of these coronal mass ejections happenings and then all of these retrogrades. And we're in eclipse seasons, I'm sure. Like there's so many aspects of what's going on. And, also like, are we on the brink of almost nuclear war? I don't think so, but I think they may make it look like that to help wake people up. Discerning is not the easiest right now. Like it truly, I believe, is taking a lot of faith and a lot of like internal sensation and a lot of intuition. And yeah. So all in all, friend, how you doing? I hope you are doing so well. And as always, if how we're feeling in any ways in our situations, in our bodies, if anything is not feeling so well, to normalize that is a-okay and absolutely to be expected right now. Like I'm not firing on all cylinders right now. I'm not feeling all super fly in all the ways, but that's because we are in tremendous times of processing and releasing and integrating. And those of us that are really potent and capable in these certain ways already, it's like we're also helping to transmit and transmute and anchor and also basically hold a portal for evicting darkness. And it takes a lot of work. So for all of us, whatever we've got going on, understand that like while you sleep, oh my goodness, you're doing a lot of work. You're doing a lot of cellular work. You're also doing a lot of soul work, which is so needed right now, right? Like understanding again that we are multidimensional beings here together during these times because we have chosen to be part of this great awakening. I hope I can say that on here. And what marvelous times really to exist together. So, if we're not doing all super good, totally okay, because we got each other. This process is just going to keep moving. And, if we provide ample loving support for ourselves where we can, stop shooting ourselves in the feet in ways that maybe we typically do, maybe become aware more so of how we may be doing that. And and yeah, and gobble up the resources that I'm gonna be creating here. Like, I know you heard me say that before, but guys, it's finally time because you see me and we are being birthed. I'm being birthed. I've got a lot of support coming your way. Okay, so guys, that was such a long intro. I'm this episode. I really, I've recorded about 4 episodes that just 3 episodes that I have not put up because there were some technology issues, and then also just I was being stopped from putting things up. I was it wasn't the right thing for me to be doing for these last couple months, and yeah, so many good things coming. So okay, so with this episode today, I tried to loosely script it, but Soul kept just being like, sit down and talk, woman, sit down and talk. So my friend, we sit down right now, we talk. We are going to quickly talk about talk about oh, I sound Canadian right now, talk about some housekeeping really fast because I've got ginormous changes to share with you and I'm really excited. And I don't know if you can hear me or see me because this is on YouTube. But I'm way more in my playfulness and joy. So I'm sharing a new part of me with you today. But I'm going to really quickly talk about massive changes happening, all great. But I'm going to keep this very succinct right now, because maybe not everybody cares to listen to all of that right now. So we're going to talk about quick housekeeping, and then we're going to talk about what the heck is going on in the world. And I just want to share my perceptions, my understandings, and where my mind is at, and possible, understandings of what's going on. And of course, as always with everything, please take what is useful for you and discard the rest, okay, with anything and everything. So we'll talk a bit about this world. I'll share my perspective because maybe, food for thought, maybe it'll be supportive for you in some way. And talk about then some of the stuff that I personally have been going through, because really, like, when we share our own experiences in wholehearted, integral, conscious ways, sharing can truly do a lot for people as far as shifting perspective, or regaining motivation for healing or whatnot. So I want to share a bit about what I've been going through, because there's been some really interesting life experiences. Yeah, and sharing's good, right? And it'll be entertaining, hopefully, and hopefully some good stuff to take away from this episode today, my friend. And then we'll go into more about what are these shifts that are going on here in this podcast. What other shifts can you expect from me? And just more details around all of that goodness, in case you want to know what really good stuff is coming up, okay? And also, there's going to be this audience is probably going to start growing really quickly, because you about to see me actually putting real live effort into being public and sociable. What? Because really, like, I love you guys so much. I love you friends so much. And I'm a person. I'm a person right now who is very, very empathic, and I'm very sensitive. If I wasn't more like 5D, 60, 70 minded, I would probably tell you that I'm probably somewhere on the spectrum, truly, like in regards to my own anxiety in life, but really about like mutism and being very, very selectively social and being very creative and good in silence and alone. Like I got my own quirks as a person. But with that, like really expanding now to be more sociable and to embody myself in new ways. So these are good times. So we are finally going to spend a lot of time together, if that is something that floats your boat. Okay, so housekeeping really quick, guys. And right, you can always jump forward through this if you just want to get to the next chunk of good stuff, okay? But what is going on here? And I also want to share that this episode for me today, this is ceremonial. I believe that this is technically episode 49, and episode 50 marks really big shift. Okay, so my friends, I have been investing a lot of my time and energy with a business partner. Okay, so I am a whole bunch of feels, and number one being gratitude, to share with you that in many ways right now, and going forward, I have a counterpart that I am co-creating with, and and I'm really happy. I am really grounded, and I feel very playful, and I feel very in my joy, and I feel so much more united with like the childlike version of me, as well as the next station of identity of myself as a woman and a soul. So I've got from meeting this incredible person. Her name is Kimberly, and I in many episodes ago I mentioned to you that a listener of this podcast that lives near me, that we went to like the shooting range together and stuff, right? And okay, so this is my business partner now. We have gotten we just we're peas in the same pod together with strengths that complement each other so well. But I'm just at this place of I found I found a very needed piece, like where two puzzle pieces together, in serving one another, and serving the greater good in ways where it's, if you want to go fast, go alone. I was not going fast alone though, but if you want to go far, we go together, and let that be, right, a mantra for all of us, truly. But yeah, I'm just very excited to share with you that I've got a new business partner. So what does this mean? This means that a lot of these episodes are now going to have a co-host. And so it's going to be Ivy and Kimberly. And it's freaking great because we both embody like that hilarious childlike version of ourselves, but we both have always like this seeking for truth. I mean, you guys know how I am, and how I am is extremely similar to actually how Kimberly is. And so, if you value about me my integrity and my love for spoken word and vocabulary, and teaching, and living from the heart, and seeing the soul first in one another, and choosing the highest path, and healing regardless of how inconvenient or whatever it is, so we've got a kindred heart joining us here. We've got a kindred heart who is absolutely integrity based, and also seeks like the highest level of knowledge and wisdom and understanding as possible, which matches me. I truly never ever thought that I would ever be capable of having a business partner or even a really close friend again, because I truly have extremely high standards in multiple areas, that need to be met in order for me to open up, let alone really, let alone share any project or any workspace or anything, because I am concerned first and foremost always about the energetic integrity of everything. And when things are just Ivy's, and maybe this is for you too, right? Maybe this is for you too. But for me, when I'm more so in that only child lone wolf mode, in that space, it's like, well, I know if I'm doing it, that it has the integrity that I know, and I've been, from 15 years in the spiritual and holistic communities. I know that there's a lot of people who walk or talk the talk and don't walk the walk. And I know that there's a lot of distortion, that there's a lot of spiritual people that is like they got blind spots and there's distortion, or they're not even blind spots, but there's distortion, So for that reason, I have not collaborated with people in a long time, since really I really woke up, because understanding that what you got to really know yourself. You got to really know yourself if you're truly going to stay in alignment and in integrity. And integrity is literally where everything is at, period. So recognizing over the last 6, 7, 8 months that, wow, there's another human that truly matches me in all of these different aspects and continually is leveling up with me, that's something very special that I did not think would actually come, but I'd been asking for it, but I didn't think that it would actually come. And so now to be in this space of like, holy fuck, we're bound together now. We're stuck. Oops, sorry, I hit that. But we're bound together and we're stuck together now. So like, heck, let's create and let's be of the highest form of service possible, because two women doing it alone, we're, yeah, but like combined, we're more than 1 + 1. We're exponentially more than that. And the wisest part of me knows that as long as we are, the most integral match for this, that this is going to be very, very fruitful and do God's work, So that's the space that we're holding for this. So, okay, so with that, my friend, so now you're going to start being with me and Kimberly in episode 50. I still have so many solo episodes that I have had planned though for months now, and I choose, and I know on a soul level that it is required of me right now to continue with creating those. Although now Kimberly and I are also doing this podcast together. So what that means is that there's going to be a brand new episode with she and I every single Monday. Okay, so it's going to be a podcast episode that's going to be up on Anchor and Apple Podcasts or whatever the heck they're calling it right now, and all the other podcast platforms. But it's also going to be up on our YouTube channel. Okay, so I've got my personal YouTube channel, which is going to have a creative, soulful video every Thursday. And then Kimberly and I have our own YouTube channel where this podcast and all of our collective offerings are going to exist. So you're going to have a podcast episode with she and I, me and her. She and I, me and her. You're going to have an Ivy and Kimberly episode every Monday. And they are really, really good conversations. And guys, doing a podcast with another person, in a lot of ways, it's way easier than doing it on your own. It's a very interesting endeavor. So those podcasts every single Monday to start your week off in the bestest way. And then or maybe not every week, but many weeks, we're going to have a bonus podcast episode, which will be one of like me doing the episodes that I've already had planned. And so they're going to be, kind of those high level episodes like the ones that we've done on consent and on deception and on basic human needs. And, like where we pick a topic and we participate in a re-education about it, about the things that truly, truly matter. Okay, so you're still going to have these episodes with me, and then you're also going to be graced with these awesome, epic, hilarious ones that she and I are doing. We've already batched about 3 of them already, and they are such a joy. And you guys are going to love her, and she is such a wealth of wisdom. Holy crap. And like learning impeccable speech and conscious languaging. She's also a hypnotist or a hypnotherapist, so incredible background of skills. So really good stuff there, guys. So, okay, so with that means that this is no longer going to be Sovereign Soul Radio, okay? This is the last episode, technically, Sovereign Soul Radio, and moving forward on 6/9/2021, we are now Inspired Sovereignty Radio. Okay, so and it's weird. So she really, really loves the word inspired. I love the word inspired from like 12 years ago. I was cleaning houses and I would listen to Dr. Dyer all day. And he said that to be inspired is to be inspirited. And to be in spirit, which means that you're embodying soul, and to be inspirited is to have this courage and life within you. So the word inspiring was always really special to me, that I actually accidentally for free got it tramp stamped on me. But one day we'll do something with that. And so I mentioned to her that I have this hilarious inspire tattoo. And then of course she does as well. So that is fun. So, to be inspired, to inspire is to be in spirit, to inspirit another, to fill with life, to fill with courage and encouragement, to be the most vital form of ourself, and to be in spirit, to be embodied with soul. And so my favorite word, of course, is sovereignty, because sovereignty is truly a multidimensional word. It denotes that we truly are self-autonomous, that we choose, we have free will, and that for me goes back to, we've got 2 different episodes on the Galactic Codex, which if you haven't dived into those episodes, please do. I know episode number 11 is one of them. I can't remember the other. I'll put it in the show notes though here. Okay. But, sovereignty, to have sovereignty of body, what happens with this body is my choice and my choice alone, period. What happens in my mind, the thoughts that I think. This is all my domain, my emotions, my domain. It's like I am my own container. I am sovereign in myself. I do not need the influence of others. I make my own choices. I make my own decisions. But then that also sovereignty has to come to a citizen level, and it truly is already like a soul level. Like if we all can just understand that we're eternal souls, temporary in these bodies, and we are free on all levels always anyways, it's like boom, boom, this matrix just dissolves and creates anew. We shift vibrations, we hop timelines, we very, very rapidly move to the next expression of ourselves, the next station of identity of us as individuals and us collectively. So, these are such magnificent days that we are in. Okay, so that was some of the word sovereignty. But yeah, and then we use the word radio because radio brings me back to mine and my mom's favorite song from when I was a child growing up, and that is Radio Gaga. Okay, such a side note story, but I want you guys to know me in my heart, and I grew up listening to Radio Gaga by Freddie Mercury, right? And it was such a hollow and sad song that made me, even as a child, just feel so much, and so even just the idea of radio has always been such a sweet, sweet idea. And especially as, radio changes and radio in some way has died, in some ways has died. And to, always as a child, it's like I always wanted, or even growing up, I wanted to be like a radio host. But it's like, well, I'm too introverted. I can't do that. But now it's like, heck, everybody's got a podcast, so I'm my own radio host. But really, radio, because it means the transmission of frequencies, right? And this is the transmission of sound and vibration and frequency through the spoken word, but the spoken word comes from the heart, and it comes out of the body, and then it enters your body, and then it enters your heart. So what we do through this act of podcasting, through this act of conscious conversation, truly, it is what radio is. It is this transfer of sacred frequencies. And so all in all, not Sovereign Soul Radio, we are now Inspired Sovereignty Radio. And so other than the podcast, we are actually creating a whole very comprehensive business that is of pure benevolence and of service to humanity. And so that business includes, personal coaching and development services. We've got Patreon, we've got our Discord, we've got our Telegrams, we've got a YouTube channel with videos starting in July coming out at least 3 times a week on all the most interesting subjects. We've got some incredible series happening where our specialty is all things awakening, from the cleansing of the body, the detox, the healing, the gut healing, the inflammation, autoimmune, allergy, all of the things of the healing, all of the things of the physical healing, but then also the mental work, the subconscious work, the emotional work, the inner child work, the timeline work, the soul work, and the spirit work. And we really, between all of the skills that we have, we're kind of like a one-stop shop for people that are awakening right now and desiring to heal and to begin, discarding the 3D versions of themselves, growing out of that, healing out of that, and into the space where we truly are meeting and embodying 5D and 6D versions of ourselves. So, that's what we are now fully committing ourselves to. So we're creating all of the sacred spaces for that. So in the next episodes, we'll have many, many more details for you. Please also, if you haven't yet, join our email list, and all of the good links and everything are going to be in the show notes. Okay. But we've got really, really great stuff coming for you. Oh, and we also have this conscious merch shop that we will be launching soon, within the next probably week and a half. And it is so much fun, guys, and perfect for these days, because we're very, very well versed in what is really, really happening right now, and we know that there are a lot of, there's a lot of light workers and people who are in the coaching industry and the self-help industry and the health industry and everything. But, there's a lot of them that are not actually awake or still are in the uncomfortable stages of awakening to what is going on, so we just want to hold as much light and space as possible. Okay, so guys, next time you come to this podcast, it's going to have new podcast art, which you probably have already noticed that it has, but there's going to be like new description, slightly new name to it, Inspired Sovereignty Radio, and it's going to say Ivy and Kimberly and not just Ivy Rose or whatever it says now. So lots of changes happening, new contact, new Instagrams, all of that will be in show notes, my friends. Okay, thank you for listening to that. So let's start talking about what the heck might be happening in this world right now, because who knows, right? Depending on where you are in the world, what stage of awakening you're at, you're probably all perceiving what is going on really, really differently. We got a lot of conscious people. We got a lot of people at different stages of awakening. We got a lot of doom and gloomers. We've got a lot of people with a lot of hope. And then there's everything in between, So wherever you're at, it's perfect right now. It's perfect right now. But of course, please understand that the process of awakening is very, 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 very continual. It doesn't stop. It's like this infinite onion. There's definitely some tears and some discomfort along the way, but like it is what it is, and it doesn't stop. We are in this constant, constant process of growth and awakening and self-healing and self-evolution right now. So, it's such a different experience for all of us, but it is the experience. So, the sooner that we can really give ourselves to this experience and truly do what we came here to do in the ways that we came here to participate. These are just such bizarre times. So wherever your level of understanding is, I'm going to share where my thoughts and perspectives are at on it, and know that like it's all food for thought. I am still only a human being in this current reality. So that means that I also have a mind that's been programmed in many, many ways. I have the naiveties of any human. I can be fooled. I don't like to be, and I try not to be. But, it's like we got to understand that there is the human condition. There is the distortion of the human mind, and everything that's going on, But I've worked very, 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 very hard on myself for a very, very, very long time, and to clean up my body and harmonize myself and to truly remove my addictions and remove my distractions, and be able to lean into discomfort and all of the feels very, very well. And also I'm very, very well practiced at dark martial arts, which means that you dealt with a lot of darkness and how to navigate it and how to truly fight it and how to defend from it and how to protect for it and also how to fight it on behalf of others, So there's a lot of experiences and time behind my perspectives, but still that doesn't make them valid or invalid. I'm just going to share like what I'm perceiving, what I'm discerning, what my gut is telling me, and I also want to preface this with, like, in some ways, I'm a little bit of a doom and gloomer in some ways, but truly, like, their media, Anne Frank's probably fake diary, all of the, like, the doom and gloom movies and, God, The Walking Dead and shit, like, that stuff truly screwed up my mind a bit, that there's always these horrible images of what could be, and absolutely, I blame the media that's been created and the movies. And that's not saying like, oh, I'm a victim of it. I'm saying I am willing to recognize how well some of their brainwashing works and how well it has even worked on me, even like knowing that the stuff is fake. You know what I mean? So I just want to preface this with that, like, I'm human, take this or leave it. I do not know what is happening, but this is what I feel and think. So to start off, the body of work that is 17, and okay, remember, for censorship I need to be careful, and so please read between the lines, my friend. Okay, keep up with me here. So we're what, 7 months past the election, and I still 100% think and feel and believe that Mr. T is still the commander-in-chief and is who? The military global Federation Alliance? Is that how you say it? That Mr. T is in charge. period. I do not doubt that at all at this stage. And also to know that it's like I've had a lot of doubts, or I've no, I haven't had a lot of doubts, but I've had doubts, I've had worries, I've had fear, I've had skepticism. I've lived very, very quietly and silently all of the last months, because truly, to do the spiritual work that I'm supposed to do to anchor here, number one thing, I need to keep my peace. And what I mean by keeping my peace is that I have to stay as much in the 0 point, and stay as balanced and as aligned and as solid of an anchor as possible. And that generally has meant me being in silence and me keeping my yap shut, keeping my mouth shut, because when I actually speak these things, and engage publicly and with people with these things and thoughts and ideas and downloads and everything, it's like I feel very emotional, and I feel more volatile and more fiery and more aggressive and more in my mama bearness and more in my emotions and my sensations, and like for what I've needed to do here for the last months, during this stage of the war, is just stay as freaking centered as possible, to be like an anchor and a node for the planet just during these times. So I've been very quiet in those ways, but now it just feels like it is time to really like begin speaking more. It's time to speak. It's time to speak. It's time to speak. So I'm very certain that Mr. T is still completely in charge. And I've seen and witnessed so many things, so many evidences. Okay, guys, I'm a smartie. I'm university, educated, but not to the brainwashed. Okay, I'm a university dropout educated, because I realized that it's not what it's cracked up to be. But I did a lot of like research psychology courses and psychology courses and statistic courses and stuff. So like, luckily those things have given me tools for these days. But from the evidences and datas, and proofs that I have witnessed, for sure, I think that Mr. T is in charge, and that the number 17 body of work is absolutely impeccable still. And I look at it with a skeptical mind, but also like I experienced every single day experiences with number 17 since like January 2018, so for like 4 years now, number 17 has been like embedded into my daily life from a space of, scientific questioning and researching. It's all very analytical and it's very impeccable. Like, no matter what, argue it as much as you want, but like truly take your time with it and still witness that it's still impeccable. And that's coming from like the most unbiased part of me, just witnessing, what it is. So I'm still, take it all with a grain of salt, but it is still extremely plausible. It's still making sense. And really, the body of work that is 17 still completely shows like what we are going through right now and why and what is happening and what is likely to happen. It's very interesting because it is a very timeless, interesting piece of work. And to me, there is absolutely something that is angelic or otherworldly or Pleiadian infused within the body of work that is 17. And also the body of work that is 17 also strongly resonates, and to me is very much the same as, if you haven't checked this out yet, there's multiple books written on this subject, and the subject is The Lost Gospel of Q. Okay, The Lost Gospel of Q. Go search for it. There's a number of books that have been written on it in the last 20 years. And so this doesn't directly have anything to do with the impeccable body of work that is number 17, right, from these last 4-ish years. But it has to do with the Bible, and that this is supposedly the original source material that 2 or 3 different books of the Bible were actually written off of. And so it's not named by a person, it's actually named by the letter Q. And so this is really like a body of work that predates the Bible, because the Bible was written partially off of it. So it's just, in their wisdom teachings, they are wisdom teachings. So like in so many ways right now, what is happening truly does seem to be biblical, and it does seem to be in very perfect alignment with what 17 and Mr. T have been talking about. So personally, I'm at a space of right now, quite solidly understanding and trusting, or I guess trusting is the word. So number one, we have already won. Number two, what we are going through right now is like Project Wake Up. Like maybe there is still some fighting, still some warring, but I think that we are in the space of Project Wake Up, where things are so crazy, so elaborate, moving so quickly to like jar the people that have been asleep, jar them awake again, or not again, but jar them awake, have them have so much cognitive dissonance that they must start asking questions and seeing differently, or like thinking, or thinking, thinking. So how can I expand on this and make it make sense? I I would say 100% trust that whoever is posing as the current guy supposedly possibly in the house that is white, I absolutely do not think that that is the original gentleman that existed 4-ish years ago, maybe 3 years ago, but definitely like the one that was in the previous presidency as vice president. It's like I absolutely do not think that that is the person posing as that person currently at all. Like there's no way, because like number one, different eye color. Number two, extremely different skull features and distances between nose, eyes, ears, chin, yada yada yada. Number three, it is clearly somebody in a mask. Number four, there are so many images and video images of it definitely being CGI technology. I think that multiple politicians, celebrities, etc. No, well, definitely politicians, that multiple of them are actually people in masks. I think that they are actors. I think that maybe these people have already been like shady before, and that they were like swapped out. And so specifically, I will say Matt Gaetz, I will say Ted Cruz, I will say the current dude in the house that is white. I will also say Miss Harris. There's and possibly Pelosi. There's definitely many people that appear to be people in masks. Like certain things are just off. And so I think that a lot of bad dudes have been kind of taken away, taken into custody. Maybe ankle bracelets, maybe participating under duress, maybe swapped out with body doubles, lookalikes, people in masks, possibly, military tribunals for treason, for crimes against humanity, for trafficking children, for extortion, for racketeering, did I say treason? Treason's a big one, and so also might we say that for the punishment in America for treason or crimes against children, crimes against humanity is the death penalty. So that's exciting, y'all. I'm one of those strong, morbid, not morbid, but strong souls who will be very much appreciating the death sentence in certain ways for certain individuals, and maybe I'll expand on that here in a moment. But what I am seeing through my own discernment, through researching, through like seriously spending a lot of time on this every single day for years now, guys. I'm one of those anons from the beginning, okay? So like there's just I really think no matter what, the good guys have won. The good guys are winning, and this is about waking us up, because certain things wouldn't be happening if bad guys were actually in control. Like I really think that the Jabby Jabs would absolutely be mandated. I think that we would have a lot more deaths, a lot more casualties to this war. I think that we would have much worse censorship. I think that we truly would be already in a food crisis. I really think that things would be so much further ahead in horrible ways with so many casualties already. And on that same note, it's like we see so much truth coming forward. It's like they're going to disclose about the UFOs, and we're having the actual forensic audits of the election. It's like there's so much good happening. There is so much good happening, and still it's like we're seeing coded deaths, and we're seeing absolute panic by the deep state. Like what we're seeing is them unraveling, not them in power and in charge and on top of it, and like not at all. Rachel Maddow is she on MSNBC? I only see clips of her on social media, but she's like in complete meltdown mode, you know? So like it's such, again, I know that I keep saying it's such interesting times, but like seriously, this stuff is so interesting. I don't know how people cannot be like mesmerized and intrigued by all of this or and fascinated by it, you know? I personally find it beyond fascinating. But you know, with witnessing the darkness, with witnessing deep state, with witnessing cabal, with witnessing that, and then also witnessing right now the opposite side of that, witnessing those that we know are filled with light, that are on, you know, God's mission, that are here as light warriors and light workers. It's like we're seeing them smiling, we're seeing them in confidence, we're seeing them at ease, we're seeing them verbally telling us that the best is yet to come, that these people are so stupid and that we have won and that we are taking back the House and we are taking back Congress and we are taking back Senate, and it's going to be sooner than we think. And the best is yet to come. And, you know, the cures that we're going to have, and that, you know, it's about peace and prosperity going forward. And we are going to take care of the people, and we are draining the swamp. And, you know, it's like, the good things are happening. The good things are happening. Just, it's all still, you know, there's so much shit flying because, of course, again, you know, we are revealing thousands and thousands of years of darkness and lies and deception. And so please also remember and understand that most everything that we've been told about history and about this world is lies, okay? Personally, I don't really like talking about the shape of the earth because, like, it pisses me off that I do not currently know the shape of the earth, and I've always thought it's spherical, and maybe it perfectly is spherical, but also, heck, maybe it isn't. And this is something that there's no way for me to figure it out right now. And don't like that. Don't like that at all. You know, but there's so much that we don't know about. What about the Great Mudslide 100 or 200 years ago? What's that? Is most of America, did we actually have free energy and completely different architecture just 100 or 200 years ago? Tartaria? Free energy? Everything was it ruined by mudslides, or was it intentionally taken away and then history rewritten so we would not know the magnificence and freedom, maybe even giants that just existed just like a little bit ago, right? And so those those are rabbit holes that I am not well versed in. So like I'm literally posing these as questions that just in the research and study that I have done, you know, has opened up the biggest questions. So to understand that through this process, it's like we all have our wheelhouses and our areas where we're interested in, you know, and the things that we are already understanding that are not what we've been told. Like we all have our certain areas, but we got to understand that there's so many areas. Like literally, we have been lied to about every aspect of what it is to be human and what this human reality ought to be like and can and should be like, you know? So, so we are in such a magnificent space of awakening and dismantling and revealing and unveiling. And it's so messy, and there's so many feels, and there's so much cognitive dissonance as we keep realizing that everything has been a lie. But guys, would we rather believe lies still, or would we rather see the truth, know the truth, and like, you know, dissolve all these lies that have been living within us, and then take right action and step forward and choose this new reality? And may we heal ourselves and grow into the humans that embody this new reality. And today, my friends, we are actually burning the eucalyptus. This is my favorite. This is the most ceremonial for me, anyways, because I don't know, there's something that is so pungent about it that is really, it is really beautiful. And do you hear this? Do you hear the little fiery things? It's a little ASMR for us. It's a very, very beautiful plant to burn. It's very pungent. It's very, there's just something so special about it. Okay, so I really think that we are doing so good, and folks be waking up all over the place, and may we keep healing ourselves and keep supporting one another as people start to question things, you know, and may we pray for those who are casualties of this time. Okay, let me speak a little bit more because soul is telling me that it is going to be helpful. Okay, so there's casualties from the Jabby Jab. I hope y'all haven't taken the Get Jabby Jab, but if you have, make sure that you are taking 5 to 10,000 IUs of vitamin D a day. I would suggest this for everybody. Anyways, P.S. disclaimer always, disclaimer, read the disclaimer. The disclaimer's there if you're curious, okay? But vitamin D, and also pine tea. Pine tea, if you can get yourself some pine tea. Vitamin D, pine tea, and zinc especially. These are the things that are supposed to best protect us from vaccine shedding or oh, goodness, I've forgotten the term. It's 11:11 right now, my friend. It's 11:11 and I've forgotten the term, but taking vitamin D, good amounts, right? 5,000 to 10,000 IU a day. Get yourself into the sun safely as well. But as well as zinc and pine tea. It's supposed to help you if you have the Jabby Jab or if you have been shed on, unfortunately, okay? In the merch store, we've got some Don't Shed on Me stuff. Oh my God, please check it out. And so, yeah, so if Mr. T wasn't in charge, I really think that the Jabby Jab would have been pushed off in a way that it wouldn't have been technically experimental as it is now because of the way that Mr. T did things with Project Warp Speed, okay? And I do believe that that is a military project that is actually going to have a lot more to do with things than we think, or it's a lot different than what we've been told. So my understanding is that if Mr. T didn't rush things so that it came out during his term, his last term, that instead we would be in a situation where this wouldn't be labeled as experimental, which means that it cannot be mandatory. I believe that we would be in a place where it's actually mandatory and the casualties would be far, 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 far greater. Also, it is my understanding that, or hopefulness that military had stepped in some ways, because that we know that military was part of the distribution, that possibly military has stepped in to make it safer to swap out with placebo. Who knows? Time will tell. But unfortunately, it's like we are seeing that there are absolutely casualties, a lot of casualties, more than the last 15 years of jabbed effects and casualties. So guys, that's a really serious situation. So definitely do your research, do your homework. Please join my personal account on Instagram if you want, and also our we've got 2 Telegram accounts, one really for awakening and one for like the darker parts of awakening and great memes. So on that one we share a lot about the Jabby Jab and science and researchers and specialists talking and like real documents, real articles, real studies, really important stuff. So please check that out, okay? So all in all, for so many reasons, I think that the good guys are in charge. Like I'm actually comfortable. I'm actually really comfy right now. I'm eating my popcorn. I'm enjoying this movie. But to contrast that with that, a lot of the winter for me was actually different shades of terror and surrender and presence and a lot of fear, a lot of frequency of fear, a collective and my own, and a lot of terror. So, that I'm shifting into a place that I am very, very cozy, my friend, that may that warm your heart and settle you, if that's what feels appropriate for you, okay? So speaking further, I want to touch base on Canada. So in the last week or so, publicly, a woman who supposedly, and seems to be, checks out truly with my intuition, and my own discernment, but this woman who is named Romana Didelot is the new commander-in-chief of Canada, the head of the military and armed forces and Federation Alliance armed forces, I believe, within Canada. And as well, she is the new Queen of Canada. And so I'm pretty sure that most of us understand that, like the Queen Elizabeth, that she's likely long gone, and she was not a good queen, nor was she maybe truly a queen. And so so Romana Didelot is doing incredible work. Check out her Telegram. Oh my goodness. So this is a woman that with complete elder energy, serious, to the point, soft-spoken, strong, fierce. And she is stating that she is this person. And we're all like, are we sure? And we're still a bit like, are we sure? But we think so. But are we sure? But we think so. And so she is doing incredible work. And the way that she speaks is from the heart and from a rational mind, from a mind of common sense. She is a person that has been present within, it looks like politics and technologies and business within Canada for many decades now. She is, it looks like of some Oriental or Asian heritage. She, there's something beautiful about her vocabulary. Let me just say that is like when she speaks, she is saying where we go one, we go all. She is speaking of love and of a higher vibration. She is speaking as the most conscious. She's not a politician though, but she's speaking from the most conscious place and the most like how do I even say this? From a spiritual conscious place of integrity and integral vocabulary, of almost like quantum vocabulary, of conscious languaging, which is very, very intriguing. And so she's taken a lot of us anon by storm, and it's very beautiful. And so she is issuing cease and desist orders for Canadian citizens like myself, but I'm not physically there right now, to start giving to all places, people, businesses, politicians, doctors, nurses, etc., who are pushing the mask or pushing the jab, right, to their employees, to whoever is offering it, whoever is pushing it, that we now as citizens of Canada, but also this is about to happen everywhere else, and oh my God, I am so excited to participate, and maybe this is up your alley, and if so, please connect with me. Oh my God, especially if you're local to me, let's do this. But also if this doesn't fit for you, totally cool, okay? But she is suggesting and supporting us to, on her behalf, to issue these cease and desist orders as we the people, and we sign as we the people. And so it might be like, oh my God, you're gonna go serve people, like that's a fucking rude thing to do. But it's like, no, actually, this cease and desist order is exposing them, because maybe a lot of people are brainwashed and don't understand what they're actually participating in, but this shows them that they are participating in acts of crimes against humanity that are punishable by execution, and all of that is lawfully true. That is lawfully true, because we are moving back to a Republic of Canada and the Republic of the United States, or the Republic of America. I think it's the Republic. Forgive me, everybody, I'm Canadian. But we're moving back to a republic. So, this is our participation now as citizens participating in this process, which is very, very valuable and very, very necessary. So we are all to now begin, and they have begun, like all over the place. I'm in these different Telegram chats, like the one for all of Alberta. There's one for every province and territory where people are listing all of the places, the addresses and names of places that are still supporting, like I said, the jab or the masks, and promoting them and distributing them. And so people are notating, all together, like where they go, where they get served, where they're still offering these things and pushing these things, etc., etc., And so again, this isn't an asshole thing to do. This is actually like the greatest civic privilege, I believe, citizen privilege and honor and duty that we can do at this time for those who feel in resonance with it. Because what we're actually doing is not like you're just serving somebody, but we are helping to show and give these people opportunities to immediately change their behavior to save their life. Because again, there's going to be Nuremberg Trials. There's already, I believe it's over 1,000 lawyers and 10,000 medical professionals who are coming together for Nuremberg Trials 2.0, or like the new Nuremberg Trials, right? Which began in the 1940s after World War II because of crimes against humanity. So we are seeing that happen again. This is all this last freaking year and a half, which is why this podcast has turned what it is because all of this has been crimes against humanity. But if you've listened to me before, you already know this. It's all crimes against humanity, my friend. So by serving people with these cease and desist letters, and once we're actually doing it here in America and other countries, I'm gonna create some videos explaining exactly how to go and do this if it's something that you want to do. Okay, so we are going to be serving people cease and desist letters for all of the places that are still committing crimes against humanity, which are all of the places. Oh my God, I cannot wait to go to Whole Foods and Costco. Where I live, I'm going to be the first person to go to them places and serve them cease and desist letters. period. Okay, because yeah, the public where I am right now, the public doesn't have to wear masks, but if they're pushing their employees to, that's a crime against humanity. And because I freaking love you employees, the employees that work for the tyrannical Costco's and Whole Foods, I'm a come and I'm a cease and desist your managers, your bosses, but so that you don't have to wear the masks anymore or be threatened to not have a job because of jabby jabs, etc., etc. Okay, so I'm gonna go mama bear on this shit, and I am going to spend all of my extra time cease and desisting all the people who are still committing crimes against humanity because number one, it is the right thing to do because it literally, I hopefully, is going to wake them up immediately and literally save their lives. Number two, it's a really badass thing to do from the soul, you know? And honestly, okay, so a little tidbit of me, I've always wanted to citizens arrest somebody, but because it's just like once you learn that that's a thing, it's like, what? That'd be so cool. But it probably wouldn't be cool. But also, it's like, how do you ever even get that opportunity, right? And this is so different, but it's close. It's so different. So Canada was, up until this Romana Didelot woman came about, Canada was looking really, really bleak. Like that was, I think, a lot of my terror was like, literally, am I ever going to get to see my family again? You know, especially with, there's no way I'm even allowing my body to get tested, let alone jabby jabbed, you know? So knowing that because women and male fertility are under insane attack through what is going on right now, that I am not willing to put myself at any added risk, period, no matter what. You guys know that I'm in my 30s and I do not have my little baby girl or baby or you know whatever, what the soul that is already committed to coming through me, you know. So I'm not mess around. So yeah, it's been, Canada was in such crazy shape. It was in such crazy complete like tyrannical control. Like, I don't know if you all know, but Canada has been so shut down for this entire time. Like, until last week, my grandma couldn't even go get her hair cut, let alone go to an outdoor patio at a cafe and actually meet with a friend. Still, you're only allowed to see, like, you're allowed two cohorts, you know, if you live alone. So there's, like, only two people you're allowed to come in contact with if you live alone. Like, these things are so freaking insane. I seriously, that any of you Canadians participate in this stuff, I kind of want to be like, my friend, stop being a pussy, you know, stop, like, stand up. You cannot obey your way out of tyranny. Okay. You cannot obey your way out of tyranny. So anyways, it was all, you know, it's a crazy situation in Canada, but now that Romana Didelot has come forward, you know, it's like that shifts everything. Suddenly it's like we're taking a stronghold of freedom and like undoing this shit and calling it out and hopefully saving lives and or sending people to military tribunals or Nuremberg trials, you know, like now suddenly things are really, really changing. And like what's happening in North America between Canada and between America right now, it's like this is the shift that is now going to push forward everywhere else. And one really interesting thing that I learned today was like that this Romana Didelot woman was or is saying that she is the Queen of Canada. That, you know, a lot of us have like, what? Like we know that there's no longer a queen, you know, and if Canada is a republic, why are you calling yourself a queen? You know, and a lot of people were thinking like, okay, well, this queen idea delegitimizes her. Delegitimizes her. I hope I'm saying that right, my friends. So she saw that a lot of us were questioning, you know, and it was a question on my mind. I was wondering. And so I thought that maybe it's to start kind of like putting it out there to have people think about the situation of the queen. Like maybe it's just to wake people up. But Romana actually came forward through her Telegram account to explain today. And God, this woman is so conscious. And that's why something in me is like I remember her as an elder. Like I feel in sync with what she's saying. There's this like deep resonance. But she explained that like the idea of a queen or an empress, oh my God, and this just makes my heart gasm. The idea of a queen or an empress, to think that this is not something of a monarchy. No, that's just the distorted version that they freaking took of it. But a queen and an empress goes back so deep through time, and a queen and an empress is a woman who is pure benevolence and of service to humanity. You know, and thinking of queen as a more like tribal sense, like that's that is so special, and that is so sacred. That is so sacred. And so for like all of the women listening, because I think just over around half of this podcast is female listeners, and to understand that for us to embody this queen and empress within, and may we grow into this version of ourselves, that it is about being of pure benevolence and of service to humanity, you know. And learning this really affirms like this ceremony for me, that for me this episode is, but also, you know, really coming forth in service. It truly like me being willing to exist and be, you know, and actually give more publicly. Yeah. So how's that sit with you, the idea of a brand new leader in Canada, and that there will, if there is not already, be leaders like this coming forward in every country, and that we are about to have world peace. We are about to have Nasara and Gesara law, which abolishes tax, which abolishes debt, which abolishes this fiat currency system where we will go back to a gold-backed, precious metal-backed, silver-backed dollar, where all of the wealth that has been stolen from us for centuries will be returned to we the people, where there will be tremendous sums of money that are put into like humanitarian projects and aid, that there will be no one that starves, that we will heal this planet, that, oh, what else? Oh, that the cures will be released, that most of hospital technology will just be gone because it's just to maybe fix the problems that the distortions and darkness of this world create. So there's no more darkness creating these problems, no more illness, no more suffering, no more hunger, no more addictions, like, because that's just a matrix, that's part of the programming of this place, you know. So truly we are so close. I believe it 10,000 billion percent, even though I know it's impossible to be over 100%, but still, this, whoops, it's, we are about to move into such goodness, such goodness. No more taxes on things other than, it's probably going to be like a 15 or 17% tax just on brand new items. No taxation on used items and other things, on food, on necessary things, you know. No more income tax, housing, everything changes, like everything changes, friends. Like, to understand that the entire structure of this reality that we had previously been living in, that the entire structure was distorted. So now we wrap our heads and minds and hearts around that there's going to be an entirely new framework for what it is to be a human, to what it is to have the human life experiences, for what it is to be in a human society, for what it is to be on planet Earth. All of that starts changing in a way that none of us have ever experienced. And oh my God, can I bring it back to how amazing is it that we are the ones alive during these years to truly experience and embody and be a part of this, to be a part of this. So for a lot of reasons, like I said, I really am feeling comfortable that we are actually in a good place. But in this place, I think it's actually, though, asking more and more of us in a way that we truly ought to participate to our maximum ability, because things are never going back to what they were, obviously. But things are going to change so much still. But you know, these aren't things that are just going to happen and let's just like sit at home and wait, you know, or keep doing our thing and just wait for things to happen for us. But for us as citizens of this world, as old souls, as, you know, eternal souls in bodies just temporarily for this incredible time, that why not give it our all in the ways that are uniquely appropriate for all of us, you know, depending on what it is that we like doing, where we live, our time, our energy, our skill sets. You know, there's so many different ways to participate. And, you know, participation can even just look like when we're in conversation with others to actually, you know, ask them good questions, you know, ask them questions that get them thinking, you know, because giving facts and stuff and us like red pilling people. In a lot of ways it works great, but also in a lot of ways just helping people to start to question things is a really like gentle and ninja approach that works really good. And at the same time, with like really participating in this process that we're going through, part of participation that has to exist, like beyond actually participating and shifting everything outside of the self in the external, which, right, very valid. A lot of us are equipped and aligned to do that, but and some of us aren't. But where it really, really counts that the work is not optional is when we're actually doing like the inner work. So to remember that, like, the only option is to participate in the inner work. We're in the days where, like, cosmically, energetically, consciousness wise, there's no opportunity really, like there isn't a good situation where we still hold onto our old pains, our old delusions, our old distortions, our old patterns, our old addictions. Like literally the stars and everything about the times are in my favor and your favor and our favor to overhaul ourselves, to evolve ourselves and heal ourselves and like truly envision and like meet and step into that next version of ourselves that is more conscious, that is more kind, that is more compassionate, that maybe has stronger boundaries, that is more intuitive and instinctual and with stronger values and greater integrity. And you fill in the rest of the things, my friend. You fill in the rest of the things. But you know, these are just very special times that we are in, and like this time is made for us. This time is made for us to heal ourselves, to grow together. Like the global alliance of patriotic light workers and light warriors that we are creating right now is beyond incredible. Like this, guys, I don't even have the words. I don't even have the words, but you know, that we are all so connected in this way. And like, especially with like us digital soldiers and all of us that are like aware of what we're aware of, it's like when we see each other, there's this kindredness that it's like, we don't know the stories and everything of each other's lives, but it's like, but we know the quality of heart, we know the quality of soul, and we know the values. You know, we know the integrity, we know the values, we know the sight for the most harmonious humanity, we know the fight in us to truly eradicate darkness. You know, like this connection that we have now globally between each other. And this connection is going to forever be now. You know, we didn't have it in this way before, but now we have it forever, and it's only going to get tighter and stronger and more and larger. And like this is the expansion of consciousness is through us, you know, through us and through the planet and truly through everything. And like when we really take the time to like look at what is really happening, like big picture, it's amazing. It's amazing. I know I keep saying that, but it's so amazing. So I want to say to, you know, keep your head up and to keep working on yourself. And, you know, a lot of us know what parts of ourselves we desire to work on, what needs to shift, what's out of balance. A lot of us know. A lot of us can feel it, but are confused where to start. You know, where to feel into, how do we do this? Like, you know, a lot of us have been intentionally cut off from our emotions, cut off from our real feelings, cut off from our truest memories, our cellular memories, our true wisdom and connection to soul, you know, to connection to God or to universe. So this is where we grow that back, you know, we grow that back and we find, you know, the space or the people or the community that really enhances that growth, you know? Because again, we're all at, you know, varying stages of dark night of the soul and of expansion and growth. And remember that with these processes, that as much as expansion is like big and beautiful, and the goal also, contraction is very necessary. Contraction is very sacred. Contraction holds purpose and value that only contraction can. So, you know, on the other hand, to be with yourself and to be in the process and to truly, you know, be in the feelings and allow them to pass. But just know that really we all have the internal work to do right now, whether it's body deep and skin deep, it's really more so soul deep, but like all aspects, it is time to upgrade. All aspects, it's time to heal. All aspects, it's time to detox and cleanse ourselves and purify ourselves. And all aspects, it's time for us to upgrade and embody and truly become those glorious, multidimensional versions of ourselves that we naturally, innately, truly are anyways. We're just finally remembering it because all this crap, dark technology that's kept us asleep for so long and in this goodness, terrible matrix is just finally all coming undone. And it is so cool to be able to witness this, isn't it? It's so good. It's as hard as it is to be awake, it's way better than being asleep. And so as optimistic as I am about the future, because and I've been very doom and gloom for a long time, like, through this dark winter, I personally, I went through a lot of silence and I sat in a lot of darkness and I unpeeled a lot and I did a lot of really sacred inner work. It was hard. It was hard and so sacred and so special. And to be on the other side of that is such a potent gift. And with that, I also really want to add that there is definitely a strong grieving process going on right now. That, this process of awakening, and it's been a dark winter. Like truly, it was. I think we were told that it would be on purpose because this contrast is very, very functional and useful for us in the big picture. Very, very much so. There's a huge grieving process happening right now for all of us, and for us to also create some sacred space around that, and recognize that a lot of us are grieving those who unfortunately are casualties of this war. We have lost people in many, many ways, and it is very, very unfortunate. I trust and hope and pray that these are souls that chose to leave at this time regardless. I lost my bestie just over a year ago now, but still during this time, in some ways for his sake. And God bless his soul and God rest his soul. That, leaving earlier in it was probably a good thing. But we've all lost a lot of stuff during this, and not just the people or the jobs or the homes or whatnot, which are all terrible things to lose, but we are losing our sense of normalcy and losing our sense of expression in many ways, losing our faces, losing our body autonomy, losing our privacy, losing our natural rights, not privileges that the government like steals and then fakes giving back to us, kind of, it's like we have lost so much. And then at the same time, we are grieving for a reality that we didn't know was ending. We're grieving for a reality that most of us didn't know was freaking satanic, and that we were participating in horrible things, and the most horrible things happening literally directly underneath us for so long now. It's like we are grieving that we're never going back to what we knew life as. And I trust the future is going to be so good and so bright and so golden that we're going to be totally okay with this. But still, while we're in it and we do not actually know what the future holds, there's a lot to feel right now. Like, yeah, there's a lot to grieve. And there's also like a deep process of can be sadness, grief, frustration, anger at the understanding that it was all a freaking lie. That we were all fools together, that we were fools and foolish and naive and gullible. And we have to sit with that. And we have to like seriously understand that. And we have to understand like even the way that big cancer is business. We have to understand that for decades now, for all of the people that we have lost in tragic and terrible ways. And let that mirror all of the other things in all of the other ways, that was all by design. That our suffering, our collective and individual suffering, like financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, sovereignty wise, like all levels of our suffering has been intended, but also because our levels of suffering has also been basically a battery for the matrix and producing what those darker energies, entities, beings literally feed on, you know? So we have to come to terms with, not only was this reality completely fabricated by darkness, but that it was also very, very dark. And then we giving our consent away because we did not understand how necessary and vital and sacred informed consent is that we gave our power away, we gave our consent away, we gave our authority away, and we unknowingly, but with our uninformed consent, we helped horrible things happen. You know, so in that way, good that that reality is dying. Good that that reality will never be. Good, I guess, that its destruction was so messy. You know, the reality's destruction was so messy, and that we didn't lose, as far as I understand, nearly as many casualties as we would have otherwise, and especially if Hillary became president in 2016, you know? So all in all, like, may we all have so much peace and strength and grace within ourselves for our own transformation, for what we are going through individually right now and collectively, but then may we also have just as much sacred really space and feels and love and appreciation and gratitude and understanding. Maybe that's the best word, understanding and empathy. Okay, understanding and empathy. Those are the best words that I'm going for right now. For everybody else who's at different stages of awakening, you know, and understanding that some people are still deeply embedded in the fear matrix. You know, some people are super embedded within the doom and the gloom, and you know, and some people are just very, very oblivious, you know, and there's people then everywhere in between. But may we understand that, you know, we often judge ourselves from our own intentions, and then we judge others from their actions. And we disregard and don't even consider what their intentions would have been, and don't actually consider what our actions were, because instead we're just looking at our intentions, you know? So going forward, may we be even more kind to our fellow human beings, to our, that sounded funny, to our neighbors, to our brothers and sisters, you know? Like, may we be so kind and so loving and so compassionate that we do not understand the internal battles that they are warring with themselves, let alone their comprehension that they have been pawns, that they have been batteries with us, that their energy has literally been fed on, that their soul and their sovereignty and autonomy has literally been sold since they were a baby. You know, like, when we can really understand how big and how dark and how shit and how without being clever and without being, you know, truly intelligent, they've been proficient at being dark, you know? It's been effective. So when we see how vast and wide and deep that shit has been, like, may we cultivate more and more and more and more compassion for our fellow humans, because the only way that we get all into the same page is through love. Love is the thing that unites us. Our judgment, our like disbelief, our, like, I mean, it's good. I'm going to keep coming back to judgment, but our not good feels at others because of their level of awakening or not awakening, like that energy, that incongruent energy is negative energy, and that's not going to help them awaken. You know, so the more that we can hold this space and anchor, like, love and grace and wisdom, love and grace and wisdom and strength, you know, where we become soft fierce. Soft fierce, I made this up. It's actually like one word, soft fierce, and it's like the best kind of fierce there is, because there is this softness and this wisdom to it, but it's also real fucking fierce. You know? But may we approach others with this space of deep love for them, and see them, number one, as a soul, but as a soul that has been trapped for a very long time, a soul that has been fragmented, a soul that has been intentionally hurt, that has been fed on. Oh, and with my voice, I can hear a huge storm starting around me. Oh, that's fun. but we continue. So, understanding and truly like seeing each other for the human experiences that we've all intentionally been traumatized and re-traumatized and re-traumatized in all of the different like segments of our life and all of the different aspects of us in as many ways as they could. We all have deep sexual misery programming. Most all of us have body issues and dysmorphia in different ways. Most all of us either play the victim or the victimizer card, or like that paradigm and programming. A lot of us deal with narcissism and addictions, or like an ego that's either superior or inferior. Like all of these things have been intentionally created to bind us and basically leech us as food and energy, while keeping us very small, not understanding our magnificence, not understanding our brilliance, not understanding what we as beings, as souls are on this planet, and not understanding what this planet is, and us still don't understand it. And but that'll come in its own perfect timing, I'm sure. So may we be so gentle and just so loving, so wise, so graceful with one another, and like give support, and may we truly come together with our families at this time as best as we can. Please love on your families, hug them so much. I haven't hugged my family in like almost 2 years, and like cannot wait for things to become much better for all of us, truly. So I told you guys that earlier in the episode that I would share a bit about myself, more about these last months, and I have almost I have actually sat down 3 different times to bring episodes forward, but I have almost sat down so many times because I've been at so many different points of desiring to share, but there's like so many aspects that I could share my own experiences and stories from, that I really feel like I'm like birthed anew every day. And every time I sit down that I want to talk and share with you, like I feel like I'm coming forth different again. And now I'm seeing what I was going to share with you before from now a new vantage point. And then like a couple days pass, and then I see myself from an even deeper, newer vantage point. And so it's like this internal process of evolution keeps just happening so fast and so fluidly that I feel like I'm just keep going through these upgrades in this internal work, that it's been stable, but it's just been constantly shifting. And like I said, there was, witnessing this darkness and really witnessing it take such what seemed like a stronghold in Canada, and us, waiting to get these certain communications that really show us that Mr. Teach still is in charge, truly. So it's taken us a while before we were given, these crumbs and codes and messages and communications to give us this confidence. And during that time of us not having all of that, I experienced a lot of really hard emotions, and I really, a trait from earlier in my personality, from like childhood, of being like very muted socially, really came up for me. And again, like I expressed earlier, that I understand the necessity though for my silence also in ways, because it created this very, very sacred space for me to incubate. I just feel like it is what was the right timing for me. And I want to share this because if you're feeling that way, it's okay to lean into that, and it's okay to give yourself permission for that. Because while I was in that place, I could feel its sacredness and I could feel its necessity for me. But at the same time, there were a lot of hard feelings about shoulds, what I should be like, what I should be doing, what I expect that all of these people expect me to do, to be, to act, to be on top of all of this stuff, and truly, like, it's just not, it wasn't what was right for me at the time, and so sometimes I would make these verbal obligations and commitments, but then when I got to the heart of me, it's like that wasn't what was time. And so now that I know it's right timing for me to shift out of that, because it's right timing and I feel it now. Ooh, this rain is so cleansing and good. I absolutely love this, and we are gonna light the sage now. But understanding that that the time that I spent in silence, it was a long time, guys. It was like really, for the most part, like a year, more than a year, but definitely like since maybe November, October, in like really strong silence. And from the length of it taught me so much, you know? And regardless of what the experience is, you know, whether it's an addiction, whether it's, I mean, whether it's anything, sometimes I think that the length that we're in something, when it is something that's extremely uncomfortably long, that being in it longer will bring about different and maybe more wisdoms than had it just been a really brief experience, you know? So I am comfortable and thankful that I had so much time in silence, because I know that that isn't something that's available to a lot of people. You know, I'm a person that's kind of now at home all the time and alone all the time, and I freaking love it all the time. But I know that not everybody is. So like you know, part of me knew that for me as a being, this time alone is very important. I'm very fortunate and blessed to have it. So truly be in it, Ivy, because there's gifts in here for you. And there's certain things that you're going to share with others eventually, you know, or there's certain ways that this time of silence is going to shift me and change me and evolve me and grow me, that is going to be of service to others. So I really, I allowed myself to sink into it. And if this is anything that you need to sink into, I just want to remind you that you do not need permission, and it's going to come at the right time, and it's probably going to happen for the right length, and you're probably going to shift out of it in perfect timing, and you will know when that timing is, just as this is my timing. But if I could give you a word of wisdom, let me tell you to enjoy it while you're in it. Don't beat yourself up for being in it. If you're going to be in it, be in it. Be in it in the way that you want to be in it, okay? You have no obligation, no expectation to others. You are in control of yourself. You are responsible for yourself. You are not responsible for others. I mean, unless we're parents and we got kids, you know, of course. But to truly please take care of yourself and do what is best for you. And if you are doing certain things like out of obligation, and, you know, really look at them, and then grow it, evolve it, change it, be integral to yourself, you know? Yeah, so moving through that took me a lot of time. And there was a lot of time where I was waiting for a person to collaborate with, but I didn't think that that person was ever going to come. I didn't think that that was possible. So I felt for a long time like there was a piece missing, where there was a piece missing for me, you know. And as much as I love being alone, it was very counterintuitive to be alone and want to stay alone, but then be like waiting for someone and not knowing who or where or when or why. So you know, and I was patient, and the right timing, everything lined up. And so just, yeah, everything is in flux for all of us right now. So what else is important for me to share of me, if anything? This, like I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, this has been a really good shift for me, and such an unexpected shift, but it's a shift that has made my daily life much more enjoyable. Honestly, like my human life experience, to have connection on such a kindred level, a kindred, playful, hilarious, but then very potent in service and deeply spiritual place, has fueled me and brought different aspects of me forward, which I really love and adore. And so having a new partnership is something so unexpected for me, but something so surprisingly natural. And you know, we're both very different people, but very similar people, and at very different stages of life. But it's all very, very perfect. So with having that shift, that has really changed the look and feel and flow of my daily life, and I've now just stepped into a new reality. And so that's why I'm back here at the podcast, and my friend, and so much more. So I guess what this episode is really me being like, hey, my friend, hey, new version of me. And I'm sure I am meeting the new version of you right now. And you feel good. You feel really, really good. Yeah, yeah. So how wonderful that we are now at this stage of things, guys. Because this stage, we are on the offense. We are not on the defense. It's like we we are really, 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 really doing the work together. And everybody's waking up. So like now what this is going to look like going forward is like things are going to keep changing and moving, and there's going to be so much goodness and so much truth coming up and out, and so many people are awakening, and they're just going to keep awakening, and it's all wonderful. It's absolutely wonderful. Yeah. Okay, guys. So it's getting late. I'm feeling like cozy, sleepy, and there's been so much good work. So with these last moments here, I mean, I wanna share some heart with you too, of course. But I want to tell you that with the projects that Kimberly and I are creating, that okay, so we've got this podcast for you, right? Which is now known as Inspired Sovereignty Radio. We have a website that will be launched within approximately 2 weeks, inspiredsovereignty.com. We have an email coming out approximately the 10th, 20th, and 1st. Sorry, let me say that right. The 1st, 10th, and 20th of every month. We have a Discord for all things awakening. So if you're a person that you like to self-research, maybe you're already, maybe you've been in connection with me over the last year on Instagram, maybe you and I already have a rapport, and you're really good at sharing really good information and accurate information and insights and perspectives, then I want you to help out. But this is the Sovereign Soul Friend Discord, and so this is going to be a community of resources, of videos. I mean, of course there's going to be like the best meme collection, because I've been saving stuff. I've been saving stuff for like this whole time. But also this is going to be a place that you can come to find links and resources, whether it's for stuff related to the jabs or videos from medical professionals that are being censored, or petitions to sign, or cease and desist letters for your country. Like, I'm going to make sure that this is extremely organized, extremely comprehensive. And, even if it's just like you need materials to help wake other people up, yada, 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 this is going to be available. But to be somebody that actually is like participating, and like, because like if you find good stuff and want to bring it and put it in the appropriate, category, oh my god, please help me, please, like, because this is going to be a community effort. But when you first join it, that's not a possibility until we like vet you, because we don't need no drama, and we don't need no trolls, no shills, nothing like that. Okay, so we've got our website, we've got this podcast, we've got that Discord, YouTube channel. We're going to have, again, this podcast coming out every Monday with an episode with both Kimberly and I. We are going to have regular episodes also with me doing solo episodes. We're also going to have our YouTube channel where we have different types of videos coming out. We've got like a number of series, and we are going to be educating on, oh my God, the glory that is water and purification and detox and cleansing and healing the body. We're going to have conscious languaging. We're going to have, oh God, there's so much goodness, guys. Like, we're just turning into full-time creators. Like, YouTube is kind of going to be the full-time gig for us. And with that though, we are also creating Patreon. So our Patreon family is launching this week. You want to absolutely get into it. It is going to be this intimate, tight, gorgeous community of soul friends, patriotic lightworkers, and we are basically like a one-stop shop Patreon family, where everything that you need to have tools and space held for your cleansing, your healing, your detoxing. Like, so we're talking the physical, but then we're also talking all of the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, the energetic. It's like we're working all angles of the experience of being a human here in the Great Awakening. And we absolutely want those who resonate to like come and participate. We've got a number of different tiers, so that it's like you can pick and choose like how integrative, how intimate you want all of this to be. We've got 5 different tiers, and we are offering so freaking much, from like weekly card readings. We've got monthly meditations and yin yoga classes. At bi-weekly, you have like a talking shit incredible like Zoom call. We're probably not going to be using Zoom though, because it's CCP. owned. I'm pretty 100% certain. But where we have like interactive Q&As and like themes on whatever you guys have got going on. But you guys can use like we're professionals in so many different modalities and therapies that it's like we want you to utilize us in whatever ways you need. You know, we're trained from like the physical and medical and holistic into the spiritual and energetic and subconscious and yeah, basically, it's like we want to change what caring for ourselves looks like and how we do that as a society and how we do that as community. And so in this way, just from being in this community and patronage with us, we want to hold the space to have all of your questions answered and all of the tools that you need given to you and all the support that you need from us as, you know, professionals of different modalities. So yeah, so and there's many different ways, or sorry, many different offerings that we're also giving within the Patreon in addition to that. So like there's so much goodness. At least come and check it out because you will know if it's meant for you. If you're meant to be in there with us, you are absolutely going to know. And if you're meant to be there, oh my God, come hang out with us. We love you. We love you. And it's like, yeah, there's so much goodness. And like I mentioned, we're also in the midst of creating our merch store. And so we're gonna have all of this stuff launching over the period of 2 weeks. And I mean, we are absolutely desiring to help keep people as healthy and protected in an immune system way, and protected on a DNA way, protected on a soul level, spiritual level, energetic, emotionally, in all ways. And we really are going to start teaching a lot on the miraculousness and power and strength of water. And we are also now in the conscious, purified alkaline, but alkaline through electrolysis, not alkaline through chemicals, but like restructured multidimensional water. We're now also in that business. We're working with the enagic Kangen water systems, and we're both utilizing these within our own bodies, and they've been absolutely game changing in so many ways. And so we're also going to share with you about that at certain times and teach you about water, because that's one of the things as well that has been completely distorted in our reality and shifted into something that is not like we've changed the structure for, again, dark and distorted reasons. We've poisoned our water for dark and distorted reasons. So when we bring water back to our bodies, water that is truly from origin, water that is how water is meant to be, the body starts shifting, the consciousness starts shifting, you know? So it's a really, really incredible process to embody, but then also to share with others. So we will also be talking about that, you know, at different points throughout this journey together. But if anybody is right now looking for ways of purifying their own water for the sake, number one, of nervous system protection, of immune system protection, and of protecting our DNA, because water actually has the ability to protect our DNA. This is just like the time for us all to have individual control over our water and the purity of what is going into our body, you know, because water truly is like the universal solvent of this world. Yeah, water affects absolutely everything. So yeah, so guys, we've got really, really, really good things coming. Those email lists are finally gonna start. Like, again, I've just been like rebirthed into this next expression, and congratulations on your journey of rebirthing also at whatever stage you were at, even though of course it is a continual thing, you know? So yeah, so I think that's mostly everything that I wanted to talk about with you today and tonight. And yeah, friend, like there's really good things coming to all of us, I trust. But I mean, at the same time, like, be wise, be prepared for most anything. You know, I trust that there's good stuff coming, but am I stocked up on food and water and ammo and firearms and dogs and spiritual tools and, you know, all of the things? Yes, I absolutely am, right? Because I never want to put all my eggs in one basket. You know that about me. I want to hope and prepare for the best, and also prepare for the worst, you know? So do be smart, do have always like the appropriate things on hand. Some of our previous episodes go in depth on what multidimensional preparedness for these days look like. So definitely check out that episode if that's a conversation that you want to have with me. But yeah, you know, be really kind to yourself, be kind to one another during these days. I think that that's some of the most important work that we truly can do. And today is Monday that this episode is coming out. And this episode is going up on my personal YouTube channel, Ivy Rose, or maybe it's just called Ivy. It's one of those, my friend. But this podcast is also going up on our Inspired Sovereignty YouTube channel. That one is the one that's going to have 3 episodes a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then, like I said, my personal channel, that's still going to exist because I need a really sacred little space for me to be like my creative, the creative woman that I am deep inside, for me to learn to express myself differently. So you're going to have multiple contents from me, but today is Monday that you are hopefully watching this and observing this. Please share this. If this has been helpful for you in any way, share this with whoever comes to mind on whatever platforms you prefer. And on Wednesday, our podcast is going to launch with it being Inspired Sovereignty Radio, in the first episode with both Kimberly and I, okay? And then that one goes to every Monday. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to the channels and also hit the little bell. That way you're going to be notified every time an episode goes up or anytime any video goes up onto YouTube. And also subscribe to the channel, please, my friend. And I am going to go put myself to bed really soon, drink some really good tea and water. Please, whatever is self-care that you can consciously fit into your day, because self-care can even be like 5 minutes of chill time and quiet, whatever self-care you need, please gift that to yourself, to take out some time and energy to really replenish yourself and regenerate yourself is like it always, the return on investment is always exponential. So do take really good care of yourself. Be drinking your water, getting your sleep, laughing and smiling, get into the fresh air, get into the sun. Okay. So much love to you all, and I'm going to see you in the next episode.